Good morning. So today I am going to make some cheese. Our freezer's getting full. We only have Helga and milk right now. So not enough to do both milk and cheese. So what I'm going to try and use her milk for is for the cheese, because between the two, it is more expensive to buy cheese than it is to buy the milk. So we don't plan to breed Dottie for another couple months. Right now, we're going to try and just keep their production staggered until we can bring in that third breeder in the spring, and then we can get to a point where we're back with both both milk and cheese production, because we have enough volume. Whereas with just the two girls, they give milk for like 6-7 months, and then we have a 5-month spread where there's nothing. So I want to try and keep it where we're always getting something. So anyways, been playing around with cheese, and the two that I've done the most have been fresh cheese and cheddar. So we've had the aged goat cheeses before, and they're strong, to say the least. And so when it comes to the cheddar, I've done a couple small batches and have tested the flavor profile like every 2 weeks. So we tried it at 2 weeks, and at 4 weeks, and at 6 weeks, and we've gotten up to like 8 weeks. And I will say it just keeps getting better. So I'm really excited. So the next couple days, I'm going to be doing some cheese. So that way we have a couple batches that'll be ready after we finish the first one. So let's get started. All you're gonna need is some milk and a pot, and I will show you how we do it. All right, so here's the simple things we're gonna need. I'm making what's called a Queso Blanco. Reminds me a lot of queso fresco, but how it's made is a little different. But it does have that similar property where it doesn't melt very well. So all you're going to need, other than your milk, some apple cider vinegar. I know you could also do this with regular vinegar as well. Some seasonings of your choices. I am doing some pink sea salt, pardon me, wild bergamot, and then some crushed red pepper. I've got my thermometer to keep track of the temperature, and then I've got my cheap little homemade press that I've done, because we are doing small batches. I haven't come up with a good kind of homemade press for bigger batches, so I just put some holes in the bottom of one container, and I can sit this one inside and put some weight on it to press the whey out. So let's get going. Recipe calls for 2 full gallons of milk. I'm actually doing 2 small batches, so I'm doing almost a gallon. So this will be cut in half for Queso Blanco, and then this gallon will be for cheddar. So I have found, at least in the cheddar, I can get about a pound of cheese from a gallon of milk. So I really like that ratio, and I have found that the volume of cheese that I get out of the batch is higher when I do it in small batches. So it's a little bit more work because you have to do them in smaller batches, but it yields more cheese. I don't exactly know why, but that's what I found. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to get this milk in here, and we're going to heat it up to 180 degrees. Oh, look at that. Barely fit in this pot. So I'm going to stir this continuously because I don't want the milk to scorch, and I don't like getting those little skins on the top of the milk. So it looks like we're at about 70 degrees, so a little over 100 degrees to go. And this could probably take maybe 30 minutes to reach temp. So it's a little tedious to stand there and stir it the whole time, but we'll time it and find out. So we'll see. Okay, so that actually took 20 minutes, not 30, but we are at temp, so I'm going to shut this off. And now the recipe calls for half a cup of vinegar, but that's for 2 gallons of milk. We're doing just under a single gallon, so I'm going to use just under a quarter cup of apple cider vinegar. All right, so I'm going to pour this in, and you'll see it almost instantly. As you begin to stir it around, you're going to end up with very fine little curds. That's what's so nice about the queso fresco, is that separation happens almost instantly. You can start to see, I'll just keep stirring until you start to see that full separation. See, there's some more. Now you can really start to see them. Alright, I'm going to finish stirring this and then we'll get it strained. Okay, so you'll know it's ready to strain when it no longer looks milky. So you see all these curds and the liquid in there has this kind of yellowy tint to it. It doesn't look like milk anymore. It just looks like whey. So now we are going to strain this off. Okay, so like I said, next thing we're going to do is we're going to strain it. So I saved the whey, so I'm going to strain it into this pot right here. I have noticed that when poultry and goats are housed together, the goats always want to get their grain feed. But they don't seem to bother it if it's soaked in whey. They'll eat the hell out of it if you soak it in milk, because we used to do that. If the goats would kick over the bucket, there's anything left, we'd give it to the chickens as a treat. Now we have a single duck who's like a companion for the little baby until we get her sold off. And we have to be out there a couple times a day to give him his food separate because I don't want to house him by himself. So we're going to save the whey so we can give him free access to the food that he wants. And the goats will leave it alone. So I have my pot, I have my strainer, and then I have cheesecloth.
Wow. I've never seen that before.
It's quite fine. I actually had to order this online.
Wow.
The stuff you find in the grocery store is just, what's the word? The weave is too loose. And you're going to lose your curds. So let's get this strained.
Wow. Mom, I've never seen those before.
Yeah, well, it's been a while since I've made some cheese.
I know. Mom, there's cheese I don't really like, but the other cheese I like.
The cheddar?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to make some cheddar later.
Cheddar, I think it's going to taste good.
Yeah, this is just queso fresco.
Yeah, I know. Oh, sorry.
I want to get all the goodies, so I'm scraping all these out.
All the goodies? Scrape all the goodies?
All right. All right, so I'm going to try and squeeze as much whey out of here as I can, but I have found that when it comes to forming your block or whatever, when they're nice and warm is the best time to to get that shape you're looking for. So what I'm going to do is quickly add my seasoning and mix it throughout. So I'm going to throw that in there. Trying to keep this camera as steady as I can for you guys, so forgive me and give that a good mix. Actually, I can't give it a good mix with one hand, so I'm going to go ahead and do this off camera. Doesn't that just look beautiful? All the colors, I love it. Okay, so I'm going to move this into my little form and place it back in the strainer and let any extra whey drip off while I weigh this down. And here we go. So here's the cheese after just a couple of hours cooling in the fridge. And it's held together pretty well. I'm going to cut it and show you what it looks like. This is a decent, it holds its shape quite well. It's not super crumbly. And I'll be able to cut slices off of this cheese. And there you go. It has a very mild flavor. I've done this with just salt as a preservative, and it's quite good. I do like playing around with the different herbs and seeing what combinations we like. But like I said, it cuts pretty well, and it's gonna hold that shape. But it also breaks easily, easy to crumble if you choose to do so. Very simple. Don't need any special tools. Just some apple cider vinegar. Or vinegar in general. I have seen recipes where you can use lemon juice for this as well. So give it a try and let me know what you guys think.